top of the hour. Okay, copy that. How long are you going to stay?
Where? You go out of here, you can't leave. I actually been thinking of talking to you.
Yeah.
I know, but
This is Elliot, my colleague. This is Uncle Jerry. It's there. It's in the holes around there. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's on the main street, but it jumped. It jumped Sunset. It's now on the south side of Sunset. Years ago.
but I think I'd just wait. But anyway, at this point, because you see, I'm hearing that, and I don't want it to be like, no, we couldn't say there's traitors because we're trying to save the school and stuff. And I got that. So I don't know, and that's why I asked you. I don't know enough about where it is. To go on about you're just getting ready to do something.
Sounds good. Yeah, we were. They pushed us down a few minutes. But
okay. Good.
We're good.
Is that the shot right here? Shot right here? Yeah. Finally got things started to fall down. I don't know what.
Yeah, that thing went for a long time.
I managed to pack some of the framing is still on.
Barry jokes like, I bet it's a meth lab. Like that lady was dodgy.
Well,
she was suspicious.
I know that lady.
All those explosions? Yeah. All those explosions? Yeah.
It's burned for so long.
What gets me is this little thing over here. That's all.
That, yeah, I don't know what that is.
Well, it's a restroom for the beach goers. And, store. But
so, yeah, can you tell from this perspective, do you think that what's on it's hard to tell from this far away because so that's the closest structure to us is the bathroom, right?
That my theory is.
The closest thing to us.
Over there. This is the yard for trucks and track, the work yard. The guys come and clean the beaches every day. They're out here.
Got it.
Oh, 6. And they're doing that and everything. Well, and maybe this whole park went then. This whole, there's I think it's 187 trailers in that park.
Which one? The one up there?
No, this.
Oh, this one?
Park.
Oh, wow.
It's either 147 or 187. So I think it's 187. It's 187. And know, there's 3 trailer parks along here.
Yeah, there's the
There's that one there. Did that
right.
go down?
We heard reports that
It's okay.
well, no, that there had been structures lost there, but we didn't
That's
go
all.
out there. So
There's
I don't
only
know.
about 25 there. And then there's one more before Temescal. There's another trailer park.
Okay.
The Tahitian Terrace.
Oh, that's where Pete was.
Yeah, Tahitian Terrace. Did they have problems there?
This
don't
one
know.
right back here.
No, that's only 16 or 18 things on the side.
There were a couple of them that were on fire when we passed over here. That was
Of trailers up on the grade there?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There was a couple.
And then there's this one, Palisades Bowl.
So far, the major job for our people have been evacuation, traffic control, allowing ingress and egress to emergency vehicles, and those can be helpful. I would have an ask that if you would, please do everything you can to open up the streets so we can get the resources we need to be able to deal with this emergency. Please take this wind emergency very seriously. As you heard from the speakers before me, this is something that is going to get worse throughout the night. So we all have to look out for each other. Areas of evacuation so far, about 30,000 people have been evacuated from a total of 10,000 households or 15,000 structures, to include businesses and other buildings so far, with no injury. So we're very thankful for that, but we truly ask for all assistance that we can get in making this as smooth as we possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief McDonald. I would also like to call up LA County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, please.
Thank you. My deepest thanks to the first responders who are working tirelessly to fight this Palisades fire. Moments ago, Chair Barger signed LA County's emergency proclamation for this fire, for the severe wind event and all of the fires related to it. As the National Weather Service predicted, this is a life-threatening situation. To our Palisades and Topanga community under evacuation order, please leave. Ensure your home is unlocked, the power is off, and making sure first responders can easily access the structure. This is essential to keeping you safe and to allowing fire and first responder personnel to do their work. For our unincorporated communities in Santa Monica Mountains, including Sunset Mesa, Topanga Canyon, and Malibu, all under evacuation order and evacuation warning, please ensure you are checking emergency.lacounty.gov and heeding all door-to-door information from our LA County Sheriff and Fire Departments. Thanks to our partners at the Topanga Coalition for Emergency Preparedness, who work year-round to practice evacuation drills and emergency preparedness, and they're working tirelessly right now to ensure information is shared across Topanga. For those with livestock, the evacuation location is Pierce College. For those needing small animal evacuation location, the Agora Animal Shelter is available to you. Thank you to Governor Newsom for your quick support and coordination. Thanks to Mayor Bass, to Councilmember Park, and all of the council members in the city, and all of our partners, city, county, and state, unified and working together to keep people safe and address this fire. The county and city of Los Angeles have a lot of experience in unified command. This emergency is no different. We're dedicating every resource we can to urgently contain this fire. I want to extend my gratitude to the Los Angeles County Fire Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Office of Emergency Management, and all of our county partners. I know LAUSD officials also wanted to be with us, but given the conditions, that was challenging. A few school updates. Topanga Elementary at Woodland Hills Academy will be relocated all week. Palisades and Marquez Elementaries will be relocated at Brentwood Science Magnet for tomorrow. Paul Revere Middle School will be relocated at University High tomorrow. Pali High School is not in session this entire week, and Canyon Elementary will be relocated at a location to be determined. To those affected by the Palisades fire, I know today is terrifying and it is painful. Please know that you are not alone. The County of Los Angeles and all of our partners are here together to stand with you and be in support of you. Thank you again to everyone who is contributing resources to this incident. Your partnership is appreciated and it is essential to keeping people safe. Thank you very much.
washout swath more near La Cruz Drive, and this is Palisades Charter Elementary, and sadly, it is on fire. And even around the corner, there are several buildings on fire, and down the street as well. And there are no firefighters, not a single one in sight. I know that there is a lot of firefighting resources right now at Sunset and Via de la Paz. Excuse me, it's having a little trouble talking. Because we were there earlier, and there were two massive apartment complexes that were on fire, and firefighters were trying to put it out. And as they were putting that out, a spot fire started at a home around the corner. I did flag down firefighters, let them know, but they said that they were too busy evacuating those massive complexes, and they just didn't have firefighters to spare to go tend to that house. And we're seeing time and time again tonight where buildings are burning, homes are burning. In this case, a school is burning, and there are no firefighting resources in sight or to be spared. And sadly, this is what we're watching right now. One of the culprits that we're seeing over and over tonight are these palm trees. Embers fly, they catch the palm fronds on fire, and this is what we see immediately following that. In fact, if we pan upward, you'll see that this palm tree is on fire. So is the one right next to it. And the real issue is that those embers are now up high, and if if gusts come through, they blow them and start multiple spot fires. And Gino, if we pan around the other way, we can show you that something else just caught fire down the street. So terrible, terrible scene to witness, but sadly, this is what we're seeing tonight. Let's send it back to you.
Christy, thank you. I want to give you a moment to catch your breath, and sometimes it's been helpful to just listen into the picture every once in a while and get a sense of how windy it is. So maybe we can listen to Gino Arias's picture to get a sense of how intense it is out there. And you think of that school and all the memories and all the kids and everything else, and how now parents are going to have to explain to these young kids about what happened here. So sad as we're looking at Palisades Charter Elementary School right now in flames. We've also seen the Pali High also in flames tonight.
Let's go ahead and check in with Chelsea Edwards. She's along PCH, where she's seen entire mobile home parks go up in flames. Chelsea?
And more than that, honestly, I mean, as we stand here over these hours and we just watch structure after structure after structure burn, I can't help but feel like we're on an apocalyptic movie set. It doesn't feel real. It feels extremely surreal being here and watching this. I mean, everywhere you look is on fire. Everything that we can see that is on the land that can burn is burning right now. I mean, from up in the canyons to what you're looking at right now, which is what's left, the rubble that's left from this mobile home park, to structures that are further down PCH, we're not sure what those are, to the public bathrooms on the other side of PCH. So this has jumped PCH and is now on both sides, even though there's not a whole lot left here to burn. It is still burning. It's just remarkable to watch. And, you know, we see that firefighter, that fire engine heading south on PCH. We've seen that over and over. They're going south, they're coming north, but they've not stopped at any point to help to do any, structural protection for any of these homes. That's some of the frustration from this homeowner we've been talking to. This gentleman, he's standing near me. He's been here for a couple of hours now. He keeps coming and talking a little bit more. He's warming up a little bit, I think, just still completely in shock from watching his home burn down. But he said, they were here. They knew that this fire was coming down. The homeowners were there. They were trying to protect their homes with garden hoses. And there was a fire engine that was there right at the entrance. And he just said they could have done something, but they ran out of water and then they left. They said they'd come back and they didn't. Obviously, those firefighters are working on life-saving efforts. I mean, that's obviously their first priority, as it should be. Property is secondary. But that's obviously hard to hear for the homeowners who are just watching everything they have and they own go up in flames. The gentleman we've been speaking to said he ran back in when he knew that it was too late. He knew that his home was on fire and there was nothing that was going to save it. He said he ran in and he grabbed a physical picture of his late mother, and that's the only belonging that he took out of that home as he ran down the hill to get away from those flames. So I mean, you hear stories like this and the impact is so great to these people. I mean, you think about the fear with those people that were in their cars on Sunset Boulevard making that decision to run. You know, that's a true fear, and we see these scenes like this, and I mean, it's just hard to believe. Again, I just feel surreal. It looks like we're on a movie set. Like, this is not actually where we're standing in the Pacific Palisades right now. When you look at the scenes of destruction, it'll be really interesting to see tomorrow when the sun comes up to kind of get a sense of how widespread this damage is. This gentleman says there's 187, he believes, mobile homes that are in this park alone, and this is just one of several up and down this section of PCH. He says there's one to the south and one to the north as well, and we believe that those structures are burned as well. I mean, it's hard to tell, obviously, right now with all the smoke in the air and these shifting winds and you know, no ability to get in and really see what's going on. But I think it's safe to assume that these numbers are going to skyrocket from what was reported earlier this evening in terms of these structures that have been lost. I mean, we're seeing it with our own eyes. We're watching these structures burn. Just remarkable damage here in the Pacific Palisades, and just so much just devastation and fear from these homeowners who are just watching everything that they have go up in flames.
And we can just hear the roar of that wind. It is something. All right, Chelsea, thank you. We want to talk now about the new fire that popped up. It's being called the Eaton Fire. Here's some images. This is thanks to Jonathan Acosta here. And this is burning in Altadena. 200 acres. This just erupted, already up to 200 acres, and there are mandatory evacuations in place. Angeles National Forest, one of the agencies on scene, says leave now if you are in the evacuation zone. I'm going to read these out to you. I do believe that we can throw them up on your screen. Evacuation orders underway for east of Altadena Drive, Kinaloa Canyon Road, Outpost Lane, Glen Springs, Coolidge, Miranda, Roosevelt, Veranda, and Ken Clare. Mandatory evacuations for all of those areas listed by Angeles National Forest. That agency is saying to leave now, and you can see these flames here and how close they are to homes. And this is another vantage point from above, looks like from a helicopter here, and it's burning out of control. There are multiple agencies on this one, Alex. Pasadena Fire, LA County Fire, which we know is also helping in the Palisades Fire. Pasadena PD is out there as well, and LASD as well, LA County Sheriff's Department, with those road closures and evacuation orders.
Wow. Yeah, this is our best video so far of that brush fire, which is burning near Pasadena. Wow, look at that. And this is the live picture that we've been looking at from Mount Wilson, which we hear there have been some evacuations ordered there. Also just got word the city of Santa Monica, back in our other fire, what's happening in the Palisades, has just issued a evacuation order. We've been talking about that city. Santa Monica seems somewhat in the clear. It's where a lot of people went to evacuate, but they are now evacuating all areas of the city north of San Vicente. Immediate threat to life. Lawful order to leave now. Area is now closed to public access. So that is areas north of Montana to San Vicente. FYI about the city of Santa Monica, if you live there, the message is to get out. Ed Lascos, back in the Palisades area, and some of the worst images of destruction have been from Ed and his photographer, Mike Armijo. Ed.
Yes, it's heartbreaking, unbelievable. Looks like a nightmare, I got to tell you. And interesting, you talked about those evacuation notices now coming up in Santa Monica, something that we heard about 30 minutes ago in this neighborhood here just off Sunset in the Palisades. LAPD going by in their black and whites on the loudspeaker saying, get out now, mandatory evacuation, evacuate eastbound on Sunset, which would take you back in that direction you were just talking about, where they are now asking folks to leave in that area of Santa Monica, moving toward the Brentwood area. Crazy scene out here. Long Beach, Engine 10 on this scene. Antioch, Bradford, just off Haverford, about a block south, if you will, towards PCH, just on the backside of Gelson's, give you an idea. Heart of the village of the Palisades. This one home here is sadly the latest casualty of this out-of-control wildfire. That front end looks like it's going to give way. In fact, some of the firefighters just pulled out as they're thinking that front wall might come crashing down. It's one of, I don't know, a dozen, maybe more homes on this one street alone as it winds down from Sunset down toward the Bluffs and PCH along Temescal that has been lost. And as you look down the road, down the street itself, Antioch, one after another, you just see one of the homes, another home's burning, because of the trouble is the embers that keep blowing from this wind. As Mike Armijo, the photographer, was saying, it was almost like missiles. Hear that wind blowing through? I know, huh? And it picks up all those embers, missiles, if you will, lit missiles, blows them down. And look at the front of that home. Looks like it's just, sadly, we're lose another home here. I must tell you, though, that the firefighters from Long Beach have moved in. First ones we've seen, and they're working very hard to try to contain this one if you can, and do protection, structure protection on the home right next to it, to the left side, because the one on the right side we've already lost. So they're doing their best. You can see them pouring water on the one to try to keep it cool so that these embers and the fire does not spread. They don't want it to go up this block, as it's right in the direct, it's downwind in the direct line of all the embers and where the fire has been burning, as it's burning now on the east side of Temescal. We've already lost some areas over at Pali High School, if you're familiar with the area. It jumps over Temescal, over that canyon area, over the roadway onto the east side, into the Antioch Street area, Haverford, right along, right basically across from Temescal and Pali High, backside of Gelson's, and it's just been a firefight here the last couple of hours. Several of these homes gone, and as you look over past, these are the homes that we first lost here as this fire, the sparks first hit this area. Chimneys standing, brick chimneys, all that's left is just smoldering, burning debris. And at times you might hear some gas canisters pop. That's about it. And then over here, down there, look at that's a look there of a lot of the fire engines that are moving in further down along Temescal as you come down closer to PCH, trying to get a handle on some of the flames that are burning down there, some of the homes that are burning down there, as they're trying desperately just to try to contain a lot of these burning embers as they're going through. Mikey, I don't know if we can look through the trees over there. It's probably a tough shot, but there's a huge home down there. Imagine, some of these homes are beautiful. They're up on the hillside overlooking PCH. Great views down over the bluffs. That one is fully engulfed, several stories high. Just an unbelievable scene here. War zone. A lady came by a little earlier saying desperately she was trying to call 911, complaining that there was no way to get through 911. That was at a point when there were no fire trucks, no fire engines, no firemen anywhere to be seen in this particular area, in this particular neighborhood. And there's a good look at that home I was talking about further down on Antioch here. My goodness, it is a firestorm here, raging out of control. Firefighters, Long Beach, are here doing their best, but with these winds and these embers, there's not much you can do, not much anyone can do.
Wow. So depressing and sad to look at. Ed Lascos, Mike Armijo, thank you for the excellent coverage all evening long in very, very tough conditions out there. As we watch these homes continue to burn. We've been talking about evacuations. We just talked about the fact that Santa Monica now adding evacuations, Eaton Canyon adding evacuations. Governor Newsom is in town tonight because he was supposed to meet with President Biden out in Thermal for a national monument. That had to be canceled. President Biden's stuck here in Southern California tonight. Governor Newsom ended up going to the press conference earlier today in Santa Monica, and he talked about the need to follow when it comes to those mandatory evacuations. Let's listen.
By no stretch of the imagination are we out of the woods. You heard the chief say 10 p.m. tonight to 5 a.m. tomorrow will be peak winds. And having just quite literally an hour or so ago gone up the canyon and saw firsthand the impact of these swirling winds and the embers and the number of structures that are destroyed. Not a few, many structures already destroyed, and the fact that people were still not evacuated, still did not heed the warning, we're just coming down the canyon, is a reminder of how serious this moment is and how important it is you listen to these evacuation orders.
Well, he also declared a state of emergency as it relates to this, and he did reach out to President Biden. Alex may have just mentioned that, and to get FEMA involved and help get more federal dollars. Let's give you a look.
President Biden gave the approval for that, so the federal government's going to be spending a lot of money on helping to fight this fire.
Okay, so let's talk about the evacuation centers that are so precious to so many people. I know a lot of people, had fled to Santa Monica, but now north of San Vicente, all of those areas are under a mandatory evacuation. If you need an evacuation center, the closest one to the Pacific Palisades would be the Westwood Recreation Center. It's at 1350 South Sepulveda Boulevard. This is right between Wilshire and Ohio. This is where American Red Cross is also set up. They are accepting small animals there as well. Another evacuation center that we have is, I know the Dream Center is another one that has opened its doors. This is in Hollywood, the 2300 block, 2301 Bellevue Avenue in Los Angeles. And I just got a message from Clint Carlton, who helps run the Dream Center, and he says this is open not just for the Palisades fire, but now the Eaton fire as well. So if you are in a situation where you need a place to stay tonight, the Dream Center is your place to go. That is a good option for you. In terms of animals, you can also go to the Pierce College in Woodland Hills. That one is accepting large livestock, smaller animals. The LA County Animal Shelter in Agora is accepting smaller animals. So those are your animal evacuation centers, in addition to the human evacuation centers, if you will. We continue to look at live pictures like this all afternoon, and it's just getting worse and worse now that the sun has set a couple of hours ago. Alex, it looks like you have some new information.
Yeah, the White House just put out a statement from President Biden, who is here in Southern California tonight. The statement, not on camera, saying he's being frequently briefed on the wildfires in West Los Angeles. My team and I are in touch with state and local officials, and I've offered any federal assistance that is needed to help suppress the terrible Pacific Palisades fire. Earlier tonight, FEMA approved a fire management assistance grant to support areas that are impacted and help reimburse the state of California for the immediate firefighting cost. My administration will do everything it can to support the response. I urge the residents of Pacific Palisades and surrounding areas of Los Angeles to stay vigilant and listen to local officials. So that is a statement from the president. We have not, even though he is right down the street from where these fires are, we haven't seen him on camera. I haven't seen him going to any of the briefings, which would cause quite a security situation and may not be all that helpful right now, considering Secret Service and all the rest of it. But as we look at this live picture, once again, you get a sense of just the embers and how scary this is and how we are not anywhere close to being out of the woods yet. Matthew Seedorf continues his excellent reporting. Matthew is on the move, and we've got some firefighters with him as well. Matthew.
Yeah, you can feel that heat come behind you with that wind as the firefighters are outside Palisades Charter High School. We're actually on the campus right now. We'll follow the firefighters over here as the flames have reached campus. These are actual classrooms that we're seeing on fire. Just hard to imagine. I mean, there were students here in class today, and now you're just looking at this, and it's just hard to put into words. You can hear the firefighters yelling for more water. We saw them on the front of the school, also with their ladder out, just trying to get on top of this, but just feeling the heat, the embers blowing around. And this is what you're seeing all over Pacific Palisades. We were just driving a little bit across town. You can see you lose track counting the number of homes that are on fire right now. So this is just unbelievable. Looks like the firefighters are about to get some water on it, hopefully here, and prevent it from spreading to the rest of the school. But just an intense situation. Alex and Laura, we're back to you.
Yeah, it is. It is so heartbreaking. And then to add to that, thank you so much, Matthew. We're just getting word that, and this isn't a big surprise, but it's still terrible to hear, that all aircraft has been grounded. So the firefight will not be fought from the air. It will be fought from the ground as we have now descended into nightfall. Adam Kruger, I know that's not a big surprise to you either.
Yeah, I mean, we heard about this earlier in the press conference. That it would be a combination of dangerous to fly at night, but also ineffective for whatever they're dropping with the winds this strong. It's just kind of getting blown away. So, yeah, not a surprise to hear that. Now, as we go into the night, here's headline number one of the three main points. If you're just going to take three things away from this here, it's the fact that winds will be peaking between, I'd say, 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. So we're heading into that time when the winds are just going to be even stronger than what we've seen so far. Also, the humidity drops a little bit tomorrow, so it gets even drier than what we see right now. And the extreme wind conditions and dry conditions, red flag conditions, cover a huge part of Southern California. So while a lot of our coverage has rightfully been focused on the Pacific Palisades, don't forget that many other parts of Southern California are finding similar weather conditions, and if a fire were to start, it could spread very rapidly. We learned not long ago there's the Eaton fire, which is a little north of Pasadena, something definitely to keep an eye on as we go through the night, as would be any other spot is worth keeping an eye on as well. All right, so forecast wind gusts now as we look at 8 o'clock tonight and head a little bit later into 10 o'clock. So notice the extreme wind gusts. I mean, we don't see the computer model really forecast something like this too often. It's showing widespread gusts over 50, some spots over 60, some spots over 70 miles per hour. So getting more intense with those winds as we continue through the night. Here's a look at 2 o'clock in the morning. And again, we're just like locked in to these really intense winds during the late night hours through tomorrow morning. Here's a look now at 4 o'clock in the morning. Things do not look any better. It is just a wild map to see with these intense wind speeds being forecast. Here we go into 8 o'clock in the morning. And we still see the strong winds. And keep in mind, while, yes, the fire threat is very high, there's also just the risk of straight-up wind damage happening anywhere. With winds of this nature, trees can come down, things can get blown away if they're not secured. So keep all that in mind through the night and into tomorrow. Now, here's a look at noon tomorrow. We still have intense winds, but the numbers start to come down a little bit. And then by the end of the day tomorrow at 6 p.m., that's when our high wind warning will expire. And then we're past the peak, but still we have some concern after that. Now, another thing I want to show you here, just to kind of break down why we expect the strongest winds to start picking up here tonight. And when we look at the pattern in the atmosphere, we've got what we call the jet stream. You may have heard of this before. So this is like a river of fast-moving winds, much higher up in the atmosphere, basically where the jets are flying around. And so the jet stream goes like this, follows this kind of swirly path right here. And there's a particular part of the jet stream which is just about to line up over us tonight. I've got this started at 10 p.m., right on the kind of northwest side of this intense low right here, where the winds are really especially zipping quite strong. And so it's those upper atmosphere winds that are adding this little extra boost to the already strong wind event we've seen all day long. So that lines up right over us tonight. And as we go into tomorrow morning and into about noon tomorrow, then we see that batch of really strong higher atmosphere winds start to move a little farther south. But between now and tomorrow morning, that's when we get that little extra boost a little bit higher up in the atmosphere, which is why we expect those winds to just keep increasing as we go through these next couple of hours. We'll go back to you.
Adam, thanks. We'll go back now to Christy Fajardo. Christy, what are you seeing?
We're actually on Dela Cruz, and I'm seeing a building right over there on fire, and we're hearing loud booms, so it appears that there's propane there. And if you walk with me, some people have lost their livelihoods. Down the street, we've seen people who've lost their homes, and sadly, some children have also lost their school. This is Palisades Charter School, and we've just watched as it's been decimated, and there is not a firefighter around. We're hearing fire alarms going off all around us, but no one can be spared to respond. And when we first arrived, we didn't know what this was, but we saw the playground and then looked it up on Google Maps and just have watched here helplessly, unable to do anything about this, and just wondering about the hundreds of children who no doubt attend, and looks like there's not going to be much left. This is Swarthmore is where we're standing, and you can see how much of it has been damaged, or if we pan that way, even destroyed. And down the street, in fact, if we walk out this way a little bit, I think if we pan down you'll see those flames there. That is a house that is on fire, and now the trees all around it are on fire, and the trees across the street are on fire. So those homes are now in danger of burning as well. And again, no firefighting resources are here. We have seen the LAPD come through. They have been on their megaphones asking people to evacuate, telling them they need to clear out now. Fortunately, it looks like everyone heeded those warnings and got out before we saw all of this, but a very dangerous situation. Again, we're hearing booms. Appears all around us. Appears that propane tanks are catching fire, and sadly, so did this school. Let's send it back to you.
Yeah, we're sorry to see another school that has gone up in flames. Obviously, our other crew was at the Palisades Charter High School that has suffered significant damage as well, Alex.
Yeah, and this is a live picture right now. This is the Palisades that we're looking at here. It's hard to even keep track because we've got this fire burning and we've got the fire burning in Eaton Canyon right now as well, which is also threatening homes. There's a live picture from Mount Wilson where you see that on the move as well. And it is, I mean, I'm sure wherever you're watching us right now, you are feeling these winds as well. Even in this studio, which is soundproof and huge, where we almost never, ever hear or feel winds, we have been feeling at times this studio shaking because the winds are so intense, which I've never felt in my 7 years of being here. This is one of the most damaging wind events in modern Southern California history. We've been talking about it for days, but it's turned out to be, frankly, even worse than what we were predicting. And if you can believe it, the worst of the winds have not happened yet. That's expected to happen between 10 o'clock tonight and 5 o'clock in the morning. Ed Laskos can't hear us, but hopefully we're going to be able to tell him that he's on TV. Go ahead.
Now the firefight goes on here, and it's growing more desperate by the very moment. Power now shut off in the last few minutes. Some of the apartment buildings, condos, all in dark. We've also lost cell service. AT&T, one of the carriers, it's out, making the situation even more dire. This is Antioch. It is just south of Sunset, right just south of the village of the Palisades itself, right behind Gelson's, if you're familiar with that, just east of Temescal Canyon. One of the many homes on this winding block that we have lost in this firestorm. This fire engine 10 from Long Beach, moving in here. The first engines that we have seen, first firefighters that we have seen in this area, they've been doing their best to try to shut down this fire, and particularly the embers as the winds are blowing across your screen from right to left. Sometimes we get those big gusts that go through here, and those embers look like flaming missiles that fly several hundred yards toward the east, causing some more spot fires. That's been the entire problem. This block hit by the first wave of this firestorm a couple of hours ago. Over on this block were some beautiful homes. On the west side, there's a chimney, a brick chimney, all that's left. But interesting, there's that chimney, that home, 3-story home, gone. Interesting, you'd look there and it'd be a home, but if you look through the smoke and the debris, see, it says Pali. That's Pali High School, Temescal Canyon and Pali High School, and the lights that shine down on the football field. Normally, you would never see that from this street. Tree lined with those beautiful homes here. Now it's a wide open field smoldering with debris of what's left of these homes, as Pali High School itself has even been hit by this out-of-control fire. Some more booms going off, some more transformers. Further down on Antioch, through all the smoke, is a huge mansion down there on top of the crest that overlooks the bluff, looking down on PCH. We're losing that one too in this firefight going up in flames. It's not much that these firefighters can do. They're trying with this home here to get another stream of water on it to try to shut down these embers, but at this point it's an out-of-control fire, and they're doing all they can. But at least we are seeing our first firefighters in this area. They're coming from Long Beach, not the city of LA, so you gotta wonder what the heck is going on, as we're right in the middle of this area. We've already lost several homes, and there's no listen to that. I'm sure you can hear it. The wind just roaring through here. These winds are the biggest problem, with the embers just flying all over the place. The firefight goes on, still out of control, but at least these firefighters from Long Beach doing all they can to try to suppress these flares that are blowing through here.
Okay, Ed. Well, as a result of this, we want to reiterate, because Santa Monica is such a big area as well, that The evacuation orders have spread to the city of Santa Monica, an evacuation order for the entire area from the northern border of the city to San Vicente Boulevard. That's between Ocean Boulevard and 26th Street. An evacuation warning is in place for the area north of Montana to San Vicente. So that is something we will continue to keep a watch on as well. A live picture from our Santa Monica camera right now. And you can just see, of course, the active flames and the strong winds. Let's get back to the ground, and we are headed to Chelsea Edwards. And this is a little bit earlier, an intense situation that she was involved in along PCH. Chelsea.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Marla, we're going to add to that number so far. So where we have been standing for a while, we've been watching these homes on Terrace Circle go up in flames. There's been at least 5 that have gone up. We just watched the last one on that terrace burn to the ground. But now, unfortunately, we're able to see in the distance there, south on PCH, we've got some smoke covering it now. There's another structure somewhere in the distance that is burning. But also across on this side on PCH, we've been talking about how there are no homes on this side. There are some structures, though, that we're able to see now that they're lit up. Those are, we believe, the public bathrooms that are right in that area along the beach that are currently on fire. So that happened within the last 5 to 10 minutes, and that whole thing is just going up. We haven't seen any firefighting efforts in that area or here at all since we've been here in this particular part of PCH, which means that everything in this area is just, if the flames come to it, it's burning. I've been talking to the homeowner, one of the homeowners here in this mobile park. He says there may be as many as 187 homes in this one mobile home park, but that there's several others in this area. Now, we don't have a clear idea yet whether that many homes in this particular area have burned, but that's what we're looking at. I mean, that's the reality that we're facing here. These homes are very tight together. These mobile home parks, the structures are very close together, and once one goes up, if there's no mitigation efforts, the others go up as well. So we're watching this burn to the ground. We've been able to see all these homes on Terrace Circle burn. Not clear how many behind it have burned, but it could be a lot. Let's take a look again, Elliot, if we look down on PCH, that public bathroom. So that's a relatively large structure, and that was lit up quite a bit a little while ago, but you can see those flames coming off of it. Look where the wind is pushing it. So the wind is still pushing everything to the west toward the ocean. For a while there, it turned back on us. So we were standing here, and all of a sudden it shifted very quickly. We were getting knocked around. Our camera was getting knocked around, and the smoke was just coming directly in our direction. That seems to have shifted now to the opposite. And I think that kind of speaks to just how chaotic this is, and that we just don't know where it's going to go. And every time the wind shifts, these embers get carried to a different area. They can possibly light up different homes, like what we're seeing right now here along PCH. And then we've got fire with really not enough resources to be able to tackle it, to do property, to save these properties, unfortunately. So again, we're seeing at least one more home in the distance, but just with the numbers of this mobile home park, if this gentleman is correct, and there are 187 mobile homes back there, if that whole thing is flattened, these numbers are going to be very different from when we wake up tomorrow morning from what we heard at the last press conference. So certainly keep an eye on that, but just devastating to watch. That homeowner is still here watching his neighborhood burn, and he just said, I don't have anywhere to go. I have nothing left. He didn't have insurance on it. There's nothing left he can do. So it's a devastating situation for so many people right now.
This was also another scene earlier. This is when a lot of people had nowhere to go. They abandoned their cars because the flames were fast approaching. As a result, LA City Fire, they had to come in because the road was completely blocked. They bulldozed all the cars off to the side to make that emergency route to clear it out. Eric Scott of LAFD and LAPD Chief Jim McDonald, they were asked about this situation. Here's what they had to say.
So questions about abandoned cars, that's a good question that has come up. Law enforcement assists us heavily with evacuation, but please remember it's an active incident. We don't have the answers to all of these questions. We will certainly look at that. That's very important. I don't know if police felt like they wanted to make a mention to evacuations. Okay.
Yeah, just on that question of evacuations, vehicles left in the roadway. If you have to leave a vehicle in the roadway, get it as far off the road as you can so that emergency vehicles can get by. The gist of moving them with bulldozers was an emergency situation. You got to get those fire resources through, and they do what they have to do to be able to facilitate that. So we're asking really for the cooperation, and think a couple of steps ahead. It's not just your vehicle there, but then others line up behind you as well as they see what you're doing. And so I can't stress enough, please follow the evacuation orders. Do your best to be able to get out to safety. Bring the equipment you will need for the next couple of days with you, because as you've heard over and over again, this is not going to end very quickly.
But this is very, very, very dynamic. And you can just, by standing here, seeing us with the wind gusts and with the predictability of this wind's going to get worse tonight. So we want people to lean forward, ready, set, go, and be ready.
That was Chief Kristen Crowley from the Los Angeles Fire Department. Okay, so as we approach the top of the hour of programming now, we've been on with fire coverage on Fox 11 since 10:30 in the morning. At the top of the hour, at 8 o'clock on Fox 11, we're going to go to our Fox primetime programming. But if you want to continue watching our coverage, you can flip over to channel 13, Fox 11 Plus, where we're already on. Some of you may already be watching us on channel 13, but it's an opportunity to flip to channel 13. You can do so right now. If you're streaming us, we're not going anywhere. We're on the Fox local app. We're on the Fox 11 Los Angeles app, foxla.com/live. All of our coverage tonight is free. It's commercial free. We are going to be here with you, and we'll be back on Fox 11 from 10 to 11:30 at least.
Yeah, so we have a lot of coverage headed your way because we're covering not just the Palisades fire, which started at 10:30 this morning, but also the Eaton fire, which there are now mandatory evacuations in Altadena. That fire is at least 200 acres, so we are watching both fires. We will also be able to bring you a live report from the Eaton fire, our first from Gina Silva, just as soon as she arrives, and we know that she is very close to that scene. So again, the Palisades fire burning out of control, almost 3,000 acres. The Eaton fire in Altadena, 200 plus acres at this point.
So again, if you're watching on TV, flip over to channel 13, where our coverage continues right now.
Fox tonight, the season premiere of Kitchen Nightmare.